Supreme Rice. Since the 1930s, supporting Louisiana farmers and communities throughout Louisiana. To find out more, go to supremerice.com.
Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
We are live here from Snow Seafood and Steak. Jimmy Ott, Charles Hannegriff. Charlie ran a little bit late, so he's got to hook up the YouTube broadcast, so that'll be hooked up in probably the second segment today. But anyway, we're over here at Snow Seafood and Steak, and our lunch entree specials today: the Tuscan chicken pasta, the heirloom tomato margarita flatbread, woo, the grilled pork ribeye with sweet demi-glace, and the bang bang shrimp tacos. Sandwiches are meatball sub, salad, Southwest chicken salad, blackened shrimp, citrus salad as well. Busy night in Power 4 college basketball last night. Charlie will get us caught up to date with the LSU transfer portal and the quarterback situation. Damon Williams making a little noise, and some people linking it to LSU. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But looking back at a really damaging beginning to if the metrics had it right for the LSU basketball team. And 12-1, relatively untested, only 2 games of the quad 1/quad 2, and they split them. And SMU is comfortably in right now. That's a good win on a neutral down in New Orleans, top 25 NET, and and LSU entered the conference play against Texas A&M with about a 30-35 NET. I don't think they're a top 30 or 35 team. It doesn't matter what I think as far as the selection committee is concerned, because and listen, only about 10 to 12% of their metric input, because they're going to play. That's what they played basically of their quad 1 or quad 2 competition. They barely got into it with the weak non-conference schedule. But nonetheless, they enter conference play with a little bit of a cushion to get into the tournament. And 2 damaging losses. Now, A&M in a wild game won at Auburn. I had to go back and freeze frame it myself because SEC Network didn't really do it. They showed you highlights from different angles, but never froze it to a point. I think they were scared of inciting a riot because as they're reviewing the 3-pointer that hit at the buzzer, it was just a matter if he got it off or not. The student section was about to riot. An Auburn player pulls up an iPad and says, "Oh, look, I got it off." And they are convinced that he did. He actually did not. So I was able to freeze it where the light came on behind the camera. Problem was the official clock hit 0.1 second when he let it go, but the light behind on the glass was on right as it was still in his hands. But anyway, LSU last night, and it was weird. South Carolina comes in is predicted to finish last in the SEC, struggling to score a whole lot. And Elijah Strong, just way above his form, came into the game averaging 10 points a game, and at the 15-minute mark, South Carolina is up 21-5, and he has 14 of their 21 points on 4 for 4 threes. They adjusted their defense, and that was the last three-pointer he attempted when he hit it right at 15 minutes ago to go up 21-5. But as much as 28 late in the first half, 43-15, and just too big of a hole to come out of. The small crowd got into it because they put together a really strong comeback, but I think they got as close as 8 or 6, and it was just way too big of a hole to dig themselves out of. So now, right now, where they sit on the NET is number 47. I'm still puzzled at they're still in the 40s, and traditionally, and no, not traditionally. I mean, you just do the math. It's how many automatics and how many at-large is at stake. You're in the 40s. You're in the bubble range. of anybody that has seen these 4 games against A&M, SMU, Texas Tech, and South Carolina. Forget the rest. I mean, you have to. How can you tell me this is a team that's up for consideration for that large bid? Now, bad luck is, yeah, you miss your point guard. There's no doubt. But the point guard's not nothing to do with your defense, and they were – it was rough last night, to say the least. I mean, 43-15 at one point. So I thought they did a poor job of identifying Strong early. They did eventually, 5 minutes in, as he finishes the game with 30 points of 10 of 15, shooting 4 for 4 from 3. Like I said, all 4 of his threes were early in the game. Comeback is nice, but, man, this is – and Scott Woodward gave them more of a budget. Said, man, if we're gonna give you another year, we're gonna give you the budget, whatever. If you're not hustling it up to some people's liking, as up to maybe the standard for what is kind of built for programs that are just not true blue bloods, that you got to go out and hustle some of your boosters. They still gave him a nice budget. Bad luck, you lose your point guard, who is the assist leader, no matter what competition you're playing. He is improved from Las Vegas. But these 2 teams are probably, even with A&M being 2-0 right now, these are 2 teams that are probably not going to end up in the NCAA tournament, and you've got 2 losses to those teams already. Like we said, some wild games last night, Auburn and Texas A&M. I don't know if I've seen a game quite like that where a team that's really not a great scoring team, not a great shooting team. Auburn off of a loss at home, brutally tough place to play. A&M beats an undermanned LSU team. Warren didn't win comfortably, didn't cover the spread, to let you know. And they just figured that would go in there and, Auburn would rebound and pull away. A&M took an early lead. Auburn spreads it out to about 8-10-point halftime lead, and then they get it out to about 12 or 14 in the second half. And then with about 13 minutes to go, A&M, Charlie, I've seen some hot shooting teams, but out of nowhere, they score like 47 points in the last 13 minutes and then have to hold on for dear life. It was one of the most surprising scoring stretches. So the SEC was all over the place last night. Tennessee takes care of business. They win handily as expected against a struggling Texas team. Sean Miller in his first year in Austin, he lost a key player due to injury as well, as did A&M also. But just a weird scene at a wild place in Auburn, one of the more, with Bruce Pearl, which he had built one of the strongest home court advantages, and then the sparse crowd at LSU where, man, they gave it a hell of a run and a comeback, but damn, you can't fall behind 28 to South Carolina at home.
And they were throwing beer at the cops at Auburn. At Auburn last night, escorting the coaches off the floor. So here's my deal on LSU, and I wasn't as high on them in the pre-conference as some people were. I don't think this team has much depth. I think this team is a very poor outside shooting team, a three-point shooting team. They got one 3-point shooter. Last night they shot 32%. But add to that now that they have been a very, very poor 3-point defense shooting team. There's so many open looks. I mean, there are teams that are shooting percentages that you would have a hard time shooting in an empty gym. Okay, South Carolina is not very good. This was their first win over a power conference team last night. We're the first week in January.
And as bad as LSU's schedule was, non-conference, South Carolina's was significantly weaker.
Yeah.
Like 100 spots, 365 teams, but like 100 spots weaker. Like LSU like in the 200s, low 200s, South Carolina in the low 300s.
the Texas Tech and SMU games helped an awful lot as far as their strength of schedule. But
no, non-conference.
That's what I'm saying.
You said Texas A&M and
I'm sorry, Texas Tech and SMU helped an awful lot. Those are both top 30, if not top 25.
No, they're top 25.
NET team. So that helped an awful lot. But let's just get to what we're talking about here with this team and their ability to win some games. Outside of McKinnon, there's not a whole lot of three-point shooting. Last night, South Carolina, who is not a great shooting team either, shot 57% from three-point range. Take that out of the equation. Prairie View shot 60% from three-point range. And we're not talking about 3 out of 5.
For the game or the first half?
For the game. 12 out of 20, okay, for the game. That's Prairie View. That's a SWAC team. You came out flat. You find yourself down 10-0 out of the shoot. Well, there were about 3,000 people in the arena last night from the people I talked to that were there.
At halftime, half left.
Right. And so you're playing in basically an empty building. Why are you playing in an empty building? Well, your non-conference schedule, you didn't get anybody, really excited about this team.
They're not any good, Charlie. They could have scheduled a little bit tougher, and they would have gotten their brains kicked in. And I mean, still, it's about the non-conference schedule. They've lost. This guy has lost. They lost all confidence in him. Coming into this season, people, now maybe they saw the schedule, but people gave up on this team. How many people, more people I've talked to that gave up their tickets this year, their season tickets, than I can ever remember.
There's no excitement level
no, it isn't.
About this team. And you're right, they could have scheduled harder, and it probably wouldn't have done a whole lot. They don't have a lot of depth, and they don't have a lot of shooting. That's on the coach. That's on recruiting. I don't know how much more they gave him or how much he didn't.
He had a bigger budget. He had a competitive budget.
This is a team that I said 6-10, 6-12 going into the season. I thought they might back into one win on the road and probably about split them at home. Well, this was one of the wins I had earmarked at home. And of the road games, I would say the two most likely wins were at Texas A&M and at South Carolina. The rest of this stuff is going to be really hard. McMahon is now 14-42 in conference play in 3 years plus the 2 games now. 14-42. That is by 5 or 6 games worse than the next worst team in the league. South Carolina was picked to finish last. They beat nobody. They come in and they got you down 28 in your building. I'm all for giving people chances. I'm all for having some patience, but I'm done. I'm sorry.
And this was a team.
There's been enough of a sample size.
This is a team this year. No matter what we thinking of the non-conference schedule, and I didn't think the metrics are in place. But you can't. And here's to me, you're just like one shot off. But anyway, for the record, Prairie View 12-21, 57% from the. But they had 56 points at half.
Yeah.
Prairie View can't come to your building and have 56 and a half. So what's that talk about? I mean, what defense? We can break down defense. Defense is what? 2/3 what?
Effort.
I mean, and so you got. I mean, that's like, dude, you got to give more effort out of your team on the defensive end. I mean, for a guy to triple his scoring, I mean, Elijah Strong to get you for 30. Man, come on, man. I mean, once a shooter hits his first shot, get on him. Get on him. And so they were slow. That's not having your point guard. You see what I'm saying? That the Prairie View getting 56 at half in your building. For South Carolina to have 50, I forget what exactly. It was right around 50 last night. I mean, it's 50 exactly at half last night. You're not putting out the effort on it. And this is not a roster that could just coast on one side of the court and just outscore you.
There's nothing. I don't see very much to be encouraged about, to be honest with you.
Been anything encouraging since this guy's gotten here.
Right. The SMU game provided a glimmer of hope because SMU's a pretty good team. I watched them play North Carolina last weekend. They beat North Carolina. In fact, they blew the doors off of North Carolina when it was a tie game at the half. But
that's a good win.
That's a good win.
That's a good win. I mean, New Orleans is a quasi. It's kind of home, but it's neutral. It's It's going to be their best win of the season. They might get another one in there.
You might back in another one. I mean, but the other games that are against teams that you've at least heard of, DePaul, Boston College, those teams are in the triple-digit net rankings. They're not very good. Boston College has a losing record overall. DePaul is a little bit, but none of that is very good. I don't see. Yes, if Thomas was back, they would be better, and he may be their best player. Or I thought after a handful of games it was Marquel Sutton, but he sort of disappeared last night. I think he's better when he's attacking the goal and closer into the paint than he is out on the wing, but we didn't see a whole lot of that last night. Mike Nwoko is winning the last night, leading the Southeastern Conference in field goal percentage. Why? Because he built up a lot of numbers against far smaller, if not necessarily shorter, but certainly of stature. He's a very physical player, but he's not a skilled offensive guy when there's equal talent guarding him. He's about a 10-point-a-game guy probably in league play, something like that. And you just don't have a whole lot of guys that can score. You don't have a whole lot of depth. I don't. Where's the light at the end of the tunnel? Where's the great player? You know, I think he's recruited one second-team all-conference player or first-team all-conference player in 3 years.
So you go on big picture today with this. You had enough. You've given up.
When you lose to the team,
well, you've dug yourself.
Yes, when you lose to the team that's picked to finish 16th, that does not have into January a win over a power conference team, and not only do you lose, you come out 10-0 out of the gate. You're down 25 at the half. You're down 28 in your building, and nobody went to watch. Yeah, that's kind of rock bottom for me a little bit. Yeah.
Texas A&M creeps into the top 50 at number 49 after their win at Auburn, so it was a huge win for them. South Carolina now dips into the top 90 at 88, but these are two of the weaker. South Carolina is expected to be the weakest team in the SEC, LSU excluded. So we will see. Now they go to Vandy. At Vandy, they're not going to win there, so they'll be 0-3. But these are two games in, the party schedule. When's Thomas coming back?
Not Saturday. He said he's kind of day to day after that, but he ruled him out for Saturday.
Okay. But no, you the guy that hired McMahon is no longer, in his position.
Yeah.
I mean, had this happened, your football move and everything, your athletic director move, he probably wouldn't have blasted last year.
I think he would have been fired at probably half to two-thirds of the power programs after last year.
What'd you say at LSU last year if they made the move? I mean, a lot of people didn't think he deserved another year.
And I think
probably did.
And we were in that.
Yes. I'd seen enough. And with that thing, so they gave him competitive budget, player budget. But when you don't have any momentum behind your program, you have to spend more for your Thomas.
You do,
and that's why he didn't just the offers weren't on level. I mean, he's not picking LSU over Kentucky, Florida, and some others if the money's the same. So you had to spend more to try and be. So you're putting some money behind, but it's not working. It's beyond not working. No, the big picture. I've bored you with that. As far as this particular team, it's just, bro. They get good two craps about defending. I mean, really. I mean, that is not a good offensive team that just lit you up last night.
And I thought they played harder in the game on Saturday. I
it was
thought
more of a gritty game.
It was a good effort.
Yeah, it was a gritty. No, the effort
was.
It was a gritty game. Now, Texas A&M didn't shoot like they did for that 13-minute stretch last night in Auburn. That was nuts. That was out of nowhere.
Right, and that's
like what an all-timer.
Yeah, every now and then you go on a heater, I guess, and maybe that was the best heater of the season.
Charlie, that's one of the best heating stretches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ever seen.
I thought Saturday they played hard and competed. Last night, I thought they came out and slept walk for a half and dug themselves a gigantic hole, even against a team like South Carolina. you're not going to be able to.
Got to take a break right now. Don't forget, one of the great things about snow is EJ had to go back to school on Sunday, so Saturday evening, let's go to dinner first. Where you want to go? He wants to go eat a steak. Let's go to Snow's. He got the steak special, got the filet with the crab cake and the salad and the loaded baked potato. Man, we had a great day. They do wonderful glasses of wine by wines by the glass. Including the reds like Silver Oak and Camus and Prisoner, and they do some whites really nice with Sonoma-Cutrer and Santa Margarita Pinot Grigio by the glass. And so we did the steaks over here. Of course, we finished it with the white chocolate bread pudding. Just had a wonderful meal over here while watching the end of that Carolina-Tampa Bay game over here on TV in the bar area. Our lunch specials, we don't do them daily anymore, Tuesday through Friday. We've expanded the lunch specials in addition to our regular menu, and the chicken, so they're available Tuesday through Friday. We're closed on Monday. Tuscan chicken pasta, heirloom tomato margarita flatbread, the grilled pork ribeye with sweet demi-glace, the bang bang shrimp tacos. The sandwich today this week is a meatball sub, salads, a Southwest chicken salad, blackened shrimp citrus salad as well. Live at lunch, live at Snow's, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak in Gonzales on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Show's available on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. Brought to you by Supreme Rice, supporting all Louisiana farmers since the 1930s. For more information, go to SupremeRice.com. Quarterback news. Of course, Ty Simpson has put his name in the draft from Alabama earlier this morning. Projected to be a first-round pick. Simpson didn't finish the season particularly strong, but this is also after Fernando Mendoza, a very light quarterback class. We're still waiting on Dante Moore at Oregon. But of local interest, of course, is what happens with the LSU quarterback situation. Even if you didn't watch the basketball game last night, you probably saw Sam Levitt in attendance with Lane Kiffin, with Weeks courtside. Levitt is now going to visit Tennessee, and Damon Williams is kind of the talk of college football this morning. The Washington quarterback entering the transfer portal per a post on social media last night. That came 4 days after he had agreed to a contract with Washington to return for the 2026 season. He's linked to Lane Kiffin. Somebody walked into the building after the game last night. Was it him? All we saw was the back of somebody's head, so I'm not going to speculate too much on that. We can tell you that Damon Williams was once committed to Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, and then when he decided not to
Coming out of high school,
this was in 2022, and then, of course, he ended up at Washington for the last 2 seasons with Jed Fish. It's also, I think, interesting that Noah Fafita from Arizona put his name in the transfer portal earlier in the period, and Jed Fish was his coach briefly at Arizona. But back to Williams, Washington, according to numerous reports, is ready to fight this. What leg they might have to stand on, I don't know. So
they have a contract. They're using it as with the Big Ten, and
they are. Xavier Lucas, who was a defensive back that went from Wisconsin to Miami last year, had a similar deal, and he's still playing for Miami. So how this turns out, Miami, LSU, somebody else potentially. Oregon's name has been mentioned a little bit. Damon Williams had agreed, and now is
5 days ago.
So it was 4 days when he put his name in the portal from when he signed a contract yesterday. Look, all of this rubs me the wrong way. The agree and then backing out of contract. So we've said our piece on that. Do I like when things go down this way? I do not. But the transfer portal is what it is. I'm just going to talk about Damon Williams for a minute.
You want ethics? Go to the basketball game.
Well, so do I like it that it goes down this way? I do not. coming and going for LSU. I don't like it, but that's just the current landscape. I'm not going to go on a moral jihad about how this stuff goes. What I will tell you is that Damon Williams looks like a quarterback that Lane Kiffin would absolutely thrive with, or that he would thrive with Lane Kiffin. Last year, he completed right about 70% of his passes, 3,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 611 yards on the ground, 6 touchdowns, all Big Ten honorable mention. And if you close your eyes a little bit, you watch the highlight films, there are some glimpses of Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, they're similar size, and they've got a similar skill set. They're not exactly the same player, but this is the kind of guy that Kiffin would thrive with.
No doubt. No, he would, and a healthy Williams versus a foot injury Levitt. That even expands it. But even if Levitt was healthy, I think this guy does, because he's going to run him 10 times. And Levitt can move. He can move, but not like this kid. This kid can really roll. Now, he's kind of a plant your foot in the ground and accelerate really quick. Trinidad has a little bit more shake and bake elusiveness, if that makes sense. I think that even though the numbers say, I think Chambliss is a more accurate thrower. I'm not saying what the stats say, but Williams could use a little work on not throwing all fastballs, on all of his throws. But can he throw it? He can throw it. He needs some fine-tuning, as a lot of these guys are. Let's say this. For a guy of his athleticism, he throws the ball way better than most. And he is just scratching the surface of how good he could be.
I think the kid.
He would light it up here.
Yes,
he would light it up.
There's no
in
no
his
doubt
system.
In my mind.
Yeah.
That. So we'll see what the rest of the day brings. We know they're still in the quarterback market pretty heavy. The Sorsby details are kind of coming out a little bit more. They said the money was basically the same. Sorsby wanted to.
So LSU's pursuing him.
That's what it appears at this point. Yes, this is kind of still a little bit cloak and dagger here in the first 24 hours, but yes, it would appear that LSU is pursuing him. And like I said, I'm not wild about how it all got there, but if this kid ends up being a quarterback for LSU next year, that's going to be a pretty exciting thing. That pairing, if that happens.
This is not the sport of the time to be the moralist. College athletics, period.
Right. And,
I mean, ethics. There's no such thing.
Kiffin and Weiss go back with this kid a long way. When he transferred out of Arizona, going to Washington, they pursued him then. So they've been after this guy for 3 years. They know who he is. They've got a relationship. They had him committed at one point. I think, if I'm remembering right, when he backed out of the commitment was when they came to terms with Jackson Dart as well. But be whatever it is, they know this.
He's
kid.
He's a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's out this, but Dart was already playing at USC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly the timeline. But
okay, so they got Dart to transfer after they.
Yeah, he committed and then he decommitted.
No, he is.
Unusual.
If there aren't many, Charles, because I think Chambliss is sort of the perfect guy for his system. And I'll be, you go run it 10 times a game. Now, the funny thing is, Chambliss, they were running him about 14 times a game, and like the last 5 games, he's running about like half that much. But anyway, he is, you look at what he's done. Yes, he is.
He's not a redshirt sophomore. I'm sorry. He enrolled at Arizona, but when Fish left, he rolled with him. So he enrolled, but he was not charged with a year at Arizona. Let me be clear about that. So
so that's not the same year. Dart was at Ole Miss for 3 years.
I'm talking about when he committed. To Ole Miss. And then he decommitted from Ole Miss. He committed to Arizona. He got
there. Committed like as a junior?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was in – he committed in December of 22. He decommitted in July of 23.
Well, for him to sign his contract with Washington and change his mind 5 days later, LSU's kind of, after they missed on Sorsby, they accelerated the interest here. Well, and it's also got to have a pretty high price tag for him to kind of change his mind, too.
A very high price tag, and all this happens while Kiffin is at the basketball game with Sam Levitt.
Yeah. Get the whole package. just get it done. Just get it done. We don't care how. How can you care how?
You can't.
You can't. You can't.
This is how you see how the sausage is made, and it's unsettling, right? Okay, but this is the transfer portal.
You're going to watch the games Thursday and Friday, and, man, there's going to be great products. And those guys are going to be playing 100%, and they're good teams, okay? And, and it's also the breath of fresh air with the new participants this deep, the unusual suspects, but maybe a sign of things to come in the future. But, man, you'll be turned off at the process if you want to. But you want ethics? Go to the PMAC. Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title for all your real estate closings, 296-0060. Our friends Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Mariana Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith, buying, building, refinancing. Nobody choose but you. Choose Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Snow's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak in Gonzales on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Uh-oh, they let the big dog out.
Out of nowhere.
It's time for the big dog, Randy McKay, with his best picks.
Big dog finishing out strong with a couple of winners. Thanks for the call in as well. The Colts and the Raiders, in addition with the Steelers. And how about a little Illinois State? Randy, did you have Illinois State any money line? Because that was a tough one.
I sure did. I had the plus 350 and the plus 360. A couple clicks on that. Disappointed to lose that, but happy for my old baseball player there, Brent Fagan. I coached him in high school, so happy for him to get his first title.
Come on, man. How tough was the baseball league in South Dakota or North Dakota? Come on, man. Y'all can only play 1 month out the year. Huh, Randy?
Well, you get a good 2.5, 3 months in during the high school season.
2.5, 3 months.
But it's cold out there.
I was surprised that they took it out the kids' hands when they had 7 block field goals. The longest field goal made was like 32 yards for there, and their second half drives were 85 yards TD, 81 yards TD, 60 yards TD, 50 yards, 55 yards to that point on 4th and 1. I was surprised because I had just seen Montana State go 75 yards and not even use their 2 timeouts. Were you surprised he attempted the field goal there?
Yeah, you could tell he really wanted to go for it there and just kind of, quivered about it. And unfortunately, he did make the bad decision, I thought, too, to try and kick it. And disaster. Thankfully, that guy got tackled. Otherwise, we might have
that was a hell of a play.
There, but, made a good tackle on the returner there, and then got to overtime. But overtime was crazy, but a great game and great FCS atmosphere there in Nashville.
Yeah, plus 340. I think they found a new home. That atmosphere was cool. Yeah, I think that's more of a desirable city than maybe Frisco, Texas. It's Nashville's hot, man. There's no doubt about it. Carolina 10.5 and 46.5. Let's go through to the 6 and see where your leans and your stronger plays are. What you looking at there? Carolina 10.5, 46.5. I'm sorry, the Rams 10.5, 46.5 over Carolina.
Yeah, the NFL playoffs, I'm kind of leaning home teams and unders here, and this one kind of fits the bill a little bit. Maybe not so much the under, but definitely like the home dog here on an inflated line. I did just bet some, there's some rogue 11s out there, so I just took some plus 11 with the Carolina team. It was a rematch from earlier, which the Carolina Panthers won 6 weeks ago, 31-28. But this Rams team's a little bit more healthy now. They got Devontae Adams and this D-back Lake back. So, but this Carolina team, we've seen them come back from deficits, much like Illinois State, and I think they'll hang within the number here.
All right, Saturday night won't be snowing, but it won't be as cold as it can be. But Chicago and Green Bay going to be around 30 degrees or so. Green Bay on the road here, 1.5, 46.5. $1 million question with this rookie. Another case, both of these games, experienced quarterback and coach in the playoffs and first-timers with Chicago. And I guess Chicago, They finally had a tough one go against them on a bad break, a couple of close losses to end the year against San Francisco and Detroit. But the luck factor, where is it? Man, he's done such a great job. Certainly improved to Williams along his development, but, man, they've won their fair share of close games.
Yeah, this should be a close game as well. I still lean the Bears here, even with the inexperience at quarterback and coach. This Green Bay team just too banged up with me still, even though they sat most of their starters in that ugly game against the Vikings where LaFleur must have knew the point spread a little bit and got some of his backers the money there with that late field goal. But I just cannot back Green Bay here. They've lost 3 straight, including that crazy 22-16 loss to the Bears 3 weeks ago. So lean Chicago in this one and can see a lower scoring game.
All right, let's go to Sunday triple header. We'll start out at noon in Philadelphia. Philadelphia open up 3.5. It's at 4.5 and 44.5 over San Francisco.
Yeah, this is the first meeting this year between these two teams, and we've seen the line go up from 3 to 4.5 now, and the total drop. I do like the total here a lot better than I do the line now, especially at 4.5. You still get probably a 45 out there, so I think the Philly defense here will be strong. And, even though the San Francisco team's defense hasn't been strong and they lose another middle linebacker, that could be tough. But this Philly offense really not clicking, even though they're going to get Lane Johnson back and, one other starter there. But I still see this game under the total. Just can't bet the Eagles now at 4.5. So no opinion on the side, but lean the total under.
All right, second game, the middle game, will be in New England. It's the same, similar situation here. So Harbaugh has played in, and so has his quarterback Herbert against Vrabel's played in a bunch of playoff games, but his quarterback has not, but May has done everything. And the quality of competition has a lot of people talking, not just with the season awards, but trying to project this New England team going into the playoffs, one of the weaker schedules historically. Patriots at home, 3.5 and 46.5.
Yeah, and that's got me leaning the road team and the under here both. I like this Chargers defense here. They rested their guys smartly last week and got set up for this matchup here. And like you said, usually the team that plays a tougher schedule usually wins these first round of playoff games. This is one road team I like this week, and I can see that the Chargers grinding out this game being a dog and under special, kind of a grinder-type game. So, the Patriots did have kind of a bye themselves last week with the Jets, but I like the Chargers and Herbert here, the more experienced team, to keep this game close and be a low scoring.
All right, the nightcap is in. I'm sorry. The
Monday night.
Go to Monday night. Monday night. That is the night game there. So I skipped one. The Buffalo and Jacksonville. Yeah. I'm sorry. But the first game is Buffalo and Jacksonville. I went out of order there. So Buffalo and Jacksonville. Jacksonville's not allowed to play past noon. It's your Charlotte Central Time. You know that, huh?
Right.
So it's funny. I remember a Sunday day, I think it was more of a divisional game. It might have been a wild card game. These same two teams played. I think it was like a 9-6 battle down in Jacksonville. Going to have some more points scored in that one. This is the highest total of the week. Jacksonville is really surging down the stretch. Trevor Lawrence, number 1 pick, and was supposed to be a really, a high probability of being a franchise quarterback, playing the best stretch of his career, no matter what you think if it's sustainable or not, or some excuses along the way. And then Josh Allen again. Mahomes is out the way. Jackson's out the way. Burrow's out the way. Buffalo Bills on the road here, 1.5 and 51.5.
Yeah, Buffalo's never won a road game with Allen. I just heard that just a little while ago. So maybe we'll see if they can get their first. I don't think they will. This is their first meeting this year between these two teams, and I'm going to take the team with a better defense. This Jacksonville defense, way underrated, has had a pretty good year, and everybody's looked at their offense with Lawrence and company and the improvement. And that wide receiving core is pretty dangerous, but this defense has balled out as well this year. So I'm going to side with the team in Florida here. This this is a little situation where you get a cold weather coming down to Florida, and that hasn't been so good. We've seen that in Miami more than anything. But you see a Buffalo team that's been playing in the cold come down to the warm weather. That can work the other way. So I just cannot go with this Buffalo's and their poorest defense. 25th rated or right in that category. So I lean Jacksonville here to win this game.
Yeah, the Bills have lost their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 road playoff games in a row. Charlie, the last one they won, 1993 down in Miami. They were the
championship game.
Yeah,
Jim Kelly and
that guy Jim Kelly.
Yeah,
he's been removed from the Buffalo quarter for a while, huh, Randy? So they haven't won a road playoff game.
Max got that one on the archives. Huh?
Yes, thank you, Max. So anyway, and then the Monday night standalone game back to Pittsburgh here, a wild one on Sunday night to close out the regular season. This line is up to is 3 now. Texans are 3 on the road, 3 and 39.5 against the Steelers.
And this is the last game, but this is also my favorite play of the week.
Okay,
and I'm going to go here with the road team, this Houston Texans team. And I also kind of lean the under here, but I like the side more. This dominating number 1 defense should expose this Pittsburgh offense. They did get a little bit going here late in that game against Baltimore, but the fact that they had to play like extra hard in that game, almost like an overtime game, where Houston rested their players, looks like a great spot here. And I prefer Stroud and company on offense than I do that Pittsburgh offense. Improving offensive line, too, with Houston. That was rated one of my worst offensive lines, and we've seen that improve over the season. So I like that as well, and it also leads me into the future with Houston. I'm going to do a money line rollover parlay with them in every game. So right on into the Super Bowl, hopefully, and we'll see how this escalates. But I'm going to start with a pretty big bet and see where it goes. So Houston side and Houston money line on the rollover parlay is my bets here.
Nothing on the total, on the under?
Yeah, I could see that being a grinding out game as well.
Yeah.
The 39.5. Houston. I just don't see Pittsburgh, even though they get Metcalf back, having any success downfield. And Rodgers, I don't think will have time to throw against that. That ball hawking. Especially tough up front defense that Houston has. And I think all the playoff games with Houston are going to go the same way.
Even the networks believe in Houston. This is the first time in 9 playoff appearances that they're not leading off the broadcast with the Saturday afternoon game. They finally put them in prime time.
They're not playing Brock Osweiler this week or Andy Dalton. No, he quarterback for them.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
so they're usually that Saturday afternoon game. So I guess because they had to give maybe the Steelers couldn't turn around so quickly on them on Saturday afternoon. But also the Steelers and Rodgers in prime time. I mean, they're a draw, so maybe their opponent. It does seem like a Fairbairn game for the Texans. Huh? They've kind of become that team where they got that great defense. They know it's dependable. Points are usually tougher to come by, but I'm tempted to go at maybe three or more field goals at plus 160.
Yeah, he's been kicking them at an alarming amount. Even last week he had a bunch of them, too. So I definitely see that, but you have to note that they are in Pittsburgh Stadium. They're one of the toughest places to kick, and we just saw a kid miss a field goal there to win the game. That was christened there by the priest somehow. They had spread the holy water on the end zone.
Randy, thank you, buddy. We appreciate it, man. We will talk to you next week. Good luck. Let's keep it going.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck, everybody out there.
Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow, including their newest location at Burbank and Bluebonnet. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. Our great team of bankers, Prentice Wilkes, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, David Henry. Come on by and visit one of our branches and see how we can help your business today. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at Snow's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak in Gonzales on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
LSU picks up their 9th portal commitment, Eugene Wilson, Trey Wilson, out of Florida. 3 years with the Gators, 107 career receptions, 1,043 yards, 10 touchdowns, 9.7 average yards per catch. Limited to only 10 games the last 2 years because of injury. Caught 61 balls as a freshman in 2023. He's number 9 on LSU's portal commitment list. Hour number 2 straight ahead here at Snow's, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Enjoying the finer things in life is his forte. Let's bring in Scott Rabelais from The Advocate.
And we return here at Snow's Seafood and Steak on Airline Highway at 74 in Gonzales. Rab, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine. I just hope you guys are okay. I'm watching the video of the show, and it kind of looks like you guys are with that fleur-de-lis fence. Y'all in some kind of French prison cell or something like that. Make sure y'all didn't get in trouble in Ascension Parish there.
That's the gating, man. That's the nice.
It's wrought iron gating in the patio there,
yeah.
Mr. Lanai.
Okay.
I mean, come on now.
This is our Lanai out here. Yeah.
It's not Augusta National, but damn it, you know. It's, I mean.
Hey, Snow's is a great place. I've been with you guys at Snow's before. It's a wonderful place to eat. I just thought about the music.
You spent the evening in the PMAC last night. Not a big crowd. Pretty bad result for LSU. Any thoughts for somebody who was actually in the building?
And there weren't many people actually in the building. That's for sure. I mean, obviously, the biggest excitement was this kid hitting a shot from half court to win $400 from food from walk-ons. They should have let him. LSU should have let him play in the second half.
Yeah.
For that outside shooting, it was dead, man. And of course, the Tigers were they didn't show a lot of life either. I mean, about 3,000 people there. Guys, I was at the women's gymnastics exhibition over the weekend. There were 4,500 people there. For an exhibition. Compared to this, and people have just checked out on this team. They look checked out in the first half. I mean, I understand they're playing without, you could say their best player in Thomas and the point guard of that, but as people have said about Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin, hey, they seem to have rallied, found an extra gear. Sometimes teams do that. They rally around each other, kind of, circle the wagons, and this team. Looked like they did that against Texas A&M, but how they could not do that against South Carolina, it was just a terrible night, a terrible defensive effort, especially. And I got the same feeling I had after LSU lost in football at Vanderbilt this year that this was an inflection point. That was an inflection point for Brian Kelly, and it certainly turned out to be. And this was an inflection point for Matt McMahon. I mean, they're going to start a 1-4 in conference and be 1-7, good chance pretty quickly. And I just don't see any hope for him. And it's unfortunate because I do think the guy is basically a good coach, and I certainly think he's a good guy. And it's just a matter of time.
This is, I mean, I'm tired of the. Well, he's a nice guy and he's a good coach. This job is not for him. I'm sorry.
That's the other part. Yes.
You're into the fourth season, okay, and your record's bad. Your recruiting has been subpar. Your scheduling has been atrocious. There's just not a whole lot that I can go, hey, wait a minute. I get that the point guard's a good player, but, I mean, it's not like he's Magic Johnson, okay? There's a limit to what Thomas is going to be able to do. And at the beginning of the season, we were debating, well, maybe 6 wins, maybe 8 wins, maybe even 9 wins. I'm sort of tired of the absolute ceiling. If everything goes perfect, maybe they'll back into the NIT. No, I expect a little bit more.
This thing was over last year, Charlie. It's beyond over.
Right.
But you still, this was a team, there's metrics. They told you had a cushion going into conference play. And these are the two of the weaker teams. I know A&M's 2-0 right now. It's not sustainable. These were two winnable games. And, I only think with Scott, you were in the building. I mean, they cut the lead 22 points.
In about it to 6.
6 with 6:21 to go.
Yeah.
Seemed like the crowd was into it pretty good. Even as sparse as they were, probably didn't have all 3,000 that showed up. A chunk of them had to leave it but I thought at that point, I didn't know if LSU was done or not. I mean, South Carolina's not a good team. I mean, they could have come back
at the 8-minute mark of the game. At the 12-minute mark of the game. 8 minutes in, they had not missed a shot. Or right before the 8-minute mark. So, that's not sustainable. LSU will make a run at them at some point.
Yeah, you dig yourself a 28, but digging yourself a 15-point hole is one thing. 28 is a lot.
They would get closer, but 6 was as close.
And here's the thing, Scott. So get South Carolina. A special night shoot, okay. Elijah Strong triples his average. He goes for 30, 10. He scores 14, and team's 21. But then you go back and you see where Prairie View had 56 points at half at you. Man, you're not trying on defense. Or this coach isn't getting his team to respond on the defensive end.
No, they're not. And it's obviously an offensively challenged team for the reasons I'm sure y'all mentioned earlier in the show. And that's the part where you could and people wanted to get behind it. I mean, when they started to come back, there was, for the small crowd there was some life behind it. There was some energy when they started cutting into double digits, and they did that single digits several times. There was some energy, and they just couldn't sustain it. South Carolina would come down and knock down another outside shot or work the ball into the basket, and LSU had more points in the paint, and they had more bench points and all that stuff, and it still wasn't enough. So I don't know. It's just it's not LSU men's basketball. To Charlie's earlier point, needs someone to fire the imagination of the fans again, like Dale Brown did, like Will Wade did, and Matt McMahon is that's just not him. It's kind of like Trent Johnson. That's just not him to be able to do that. And so who that could be, I don't know. And how much more is LSU going to be willing to throw a lot more money down what has been a rabbit hole, so far for since Will Wade left? I don't know. It's going to be very interesting when, part of LSU's, I say, quote unquote, problem is obviously football has to succeed and you got to throw a lot of resources at that. But baseball is so important, and women's basketball, aside from the last 2 games, has been very successful. Gymnastics has been very successful in other programs, and you can't just say like Kentucky, oh, we're going to give all this money to men's basketball. I think it's problematic at best, but you can be better than this. You can be. I think I've always said, and I think this is still true. LSU should be a postseason team every year. That's the NCAA or the NIT, and that's not too much to ask.
But it turns a profit. None of those other sports do.
Well,
the sport, the small, but I mean, those sports lose money.
Yeah.
I mean, they lose less, maybe, but I mean, I don't know.
That might be part of your problem, Jimmy, because the profit is built in with the TV money, no matter how bad they are. Okay. It allows them to not care about it and still turn a profit. To turn a profit in baseball or to lose less money in women's basketball, and you can argue they're losing more money because they're paying the staff what they are in women's basketball, but the profit margin is built into. They could have 0 people buy tickets to men's basketball, and they'd probably still show a profit.
Give any of those other sports the conference record of McMahon and see how many people show up.
LSU has not cared about men's basketball in so long, okay? They allowed Johnny Jones to sort of meander. When Will Wade wanted to elicit change, and we're talking about things like fix the hole in the roof so there's not water on the floor, they pushed back on him so hard because they didn't want to spend any money. They hired a guy who they didn't have to spend any money on. They are stuck in Joe Dean mode in men's basketball and have been for a long time. And the one guy that they had that would push back on that a little bit, they at every turn. Now, I know he screwed up, and the whole phone call and all of that stuff. I get it, but you tell me where. I know when LSU's going and they're serious about being good in something. I've seen it in just about every other sport. They're not serious about being good in, or they haven't been. I don't want to speak for Verge. Verge has been athletic director for just a short time here, but they have not been serious about being really good in men's basketball for a long, long time. We'll see if they are after this season, but they haven't been for a long time. Let me switch over to the football stuff. You wrote a column this weekend about LSU and the coaches, so now at least it looks like we got some clarity on tomorrow night. Charlie Weiss will be there, and Kevin Smith will be there for Ole Miss. George McDonald and Joe Cox apparently will not be there. They're staying back in Baton Rouge. So I think we're down to 2 coaches on loan to Ole Miss. I think LSU will be happy when that number gets down to 0, Scott.
Yeah. I think they should be happy. And look, like they try to be fair, and I think this whole thing has stemmed from Lane Kiffin wanting to coach this team in the playoff, and I understand that. And I think he was trying to be fair by the team and school that he just left, which he had affinity for. Obviously, he coached these players and he wanted to see them try to succeed. But enough is enough. It certainly hadn't been appreciated, right? I mean, it certainly. Yeah, even Pete Golding's taking a little shots at Lane and stuff like that. So fine, pull them all back. That's my attitude. I mean, your competitors, as Stan Verrett said in a quote in a column recently, it's a cold sport. And LSU has been more than gracious enough to one of its most heated rivals, and obviously they really want Weiss to coach the team because they've already given him more money to stay after he agreed to come, and they're allowing him to coach the team, which is obviously something he really wants to do. But it's enough. But I tell you what, I don't know about you guys. I just have a feeling they got a really good shot. As good as Miami's defense is playing, they got George Ole Miss's offense is playing great, and they got a really good shot to win this Fiesta Bowl and go to the final. And I don't think they're going to beat Indiana, but if Indiana gets there, but man, they're playing good. I wouldn't doubt this thing to drag on even more. It's time for LSU to put their full resources to helping themselves and build this team for the future against an Ole Miss team that is certainly at the moment a tougher rival than they have been in the past before Lane Kiffin made them a winner. And so that's how I feel. But I understand some of the motivations behind what they've been doing, what Kiffin's allowed the assistants to do. But it's nice to see, in my opinion, from LSU's perspective that some of these guys, more of these guys are getting pulled back, and we'll see if they do beat Miami. If Weiss and Smith are going to coach the national championship game, I assume they would, but maybe something else will happen.
I think the whole era of good feeling and sharing and all that stuff, if you go back to when Kiffin got the job, I think, or maybe a week after that, I think the belief was, we'll go ahead and we'll loan you the coaches because you're going to beat Tulane. But you're going to lose to Georgia, so they'll all be back in the building by the time the portal opens. Well, they beat Georgia.
They didn't know they were playing Georgia at that time.
Okay, well, they were going to lose their second game. They were going to lose their second game. They didn't. Okay, so I think that threw a wrench into what their vision of it was when it started. I can't prove that. That's just what I think.
Just think about him in his critical stages of putting your roster together, being in Tempe right now.
Yeah.
I mean, be in Phoenix or Glendale, wherever the hell they're playing. I mean, you know what? I mean, they were going to allow him to do that.
And LSU was going to allow him to do that.
That's what I mean. LSU with Verge. Right. I mean, everybody was like,
if Ole Miss didn't put the brakes on that, Kiffin would be coaching this game tomorrow night. I think it's probably a toss-up game, Scott. I hadn't made up my mind on a pick yet. I could see it going either way. I don't have a strong feeling.
It's a great matchup with the Miami defense and the Ole Miss offense. Okay, in the Miami defense is flexes muscles in their first two games. Holding A&M and in Ohio State 6+ quarters to no touchdowns. And Ole Miss's offense is great, and you got the hottest player in the country right now. Nobody's playing higher level than Trinidad Chambliss. Nobody.
They're playing great, but it's like nobody is giving Lane Kiffin any credit for building this team. It seems like. Boy, they're playing great without it. Man, look at what they're doing without Lane Kiffin.
I wouldn't hold my breath waiting on it.
Don't wait on it. Don't hold your breath because he's no question. Are they winning without him? And that helps them, makes them feel good. Yes, the whole bit. All right, but there's a lot of little inconsistencies. Whether it's one standard for the head coach and another for the assistants. We start with that. But yeah, no, it's beat up on Lane Kiffin, and he is by far the single most. It is one of the better jobs done at a place that really hadn't given a whole lot. He's the one that architected the plan to build the collective and get all this started, to give them a chance and get them to this point. Nobody is more responsible for them being there than Lane Kiffin. We can argue about Nick Saban. Is LSU still reaping benefits from his hard work? Yes, it's just a matter of how much. But as far as Golding playing to his crowd and the Ole Miss fan base and taking shots at Kiffin, that's fine. But in maybe the way he left, no way he gets this job if Lane didn't leave in this manner. No way.
Very excellent point. Yes, 100%.
That's true. Hey, both of Oregon's coordinators have taken head coaching jobs somewhere else and are doing double duty. How much have you read about that? Not a whole lot, right?
No, because
not a whole. No, Lane Kiffin is the number one villain in college football. He is the Darth Vader of college football. The number one villain.
James Madison, Tulane's coaches were working double duty.
Right.
And guys, doesn't that follow the national narrative about LSU football coaches going back to Les Miles? Les Miles, he was this goofy guy, and he ate grass, and he wore the high hat, and he's just silly Les. Ed Orgeron, he's this. We know what we think of Cajuns, right? Around the country. He's a Cajun, and they're not those people. They're not all there. And then, of course, they just hated Brian Kelly, just hated him as a person, and he didn't do a whole lot to help that narrative, though he was fine for most of us to work with. And now Lane Kiffin. This is like, okay, fine, fine. It gets a little tiring.
I'm not in the business of wanting my opponents to like me. It doesn't faze me. If my opponents look. I'll never forget what Steve Spurrier said at Media Days in the mid-'90s. He says, Curly Holman doing a pretty good job over there. I'll bet.
I'm sorry.
If your opponents are happy with your coaches, you have a problem.
He sure puts on a pretty low face on that TV, but there's no bigger a-hole than Nick Saban. I'm sorry. No bigger. All right? Father Mark and Father Roy were good to my kid at St. James. I don't want him coaching my basketball team, okay? I mean, I'm not tired of nice guy stuff as well. Yeah. In part of roster building, the ethics in that in today's college landscape, contract, rip it up. We don't care.
Over. Scott, we appreciate it. We will talk to you next week and get ready for the national championship game at that point.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
We're here at Snow's Seafood and Steak in Gonzales.
Yes, our entree specials today, Charlie, our lunch specials, in addition to our vast menu that we have over here. They get a little bit of everything. I mean, the seafood dishes. They got the different plate lunches, the sandwiches and po' boys, burgers and pastas, and fresh fish, all that stuff. But we also have the Tuscan chicken pasta, the heirloom tomato margarita flatbread, grilled pork ribeye with the sweet demi-glace, and the Bang Bang shrimp tacos. That is available Tuesday through Friday over here at lunch, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And our meatball sub is our sandwich of the week. Salads of the week was the Southwest chicken salad and blackened shrimp citrus salad as well. Here at Snow Seafood and Steak, Airline Highway at Highway 74 in Gonzales.
Live at Snow's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak in Gonzales on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From east, north to south, but we're heading west. It's Wes Reynolds from VSiN.
Wes, how you doing, buddy? You going to Atlanta?
I am taking the midnight train to Georgia.
You want to skip? You want to stump Wes with your Perry Mason stuff?
Oh, we were talking yesterday about the NCAA's record in court. I said it's worse than the guy that win against Perry Mason every week
and
on TV.
And who was that? No, let's see if Wes knows.
What, the attorney?
The attorney that he went against every week.
Oh man, you have stumped me there.
Okay. Andy Isco pulled it out yesterday. So, yes.
Of course, Andy would know that. I was thinking when I was thinking bad attorneys, I was thinking like Lionel Hutz from The Simpsons, that Phil Hartman voice. I moved for a dismissal thingy.
I told Charlie, I said, Charlie, you're younger than me. That was in black and white. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, that's kind of the break off point, huh?
Well, and I just said that when they launched WTBS, they used to run Perry Mason reruns in the afternoons, and I watched them. So Hamilton Berger was his name, the attorney.
There you go. Wes, man, the Rose Bowl was just, a beatdown. And I kind of expected it. It was one of my biggest bets last week in the Rose Bowl in Indiana. We talked about that last week. But, man, just how was it?
No, it was an amazing day. And, when we talked, you said, hey, I think Alabama should be double digits. I thought the line was fair, even though I laid it. But I didn't think that there was, any way that Alabama was really better than Indiana in anything, offensively or defensively and special teams. And keep in mind, that was still an 11-4 Alabama team. I know down from the usual standard, but still, they swept their rivals. They won a playoff game, so you take them seriously. But after that first drive, and that's where I thought I was like, they're going to go 3-and-out on their first drive, and they did. Mendoza got sacked twice on the drive, but you could kind of tell they were gradually settling in. And what I really saw with it was the running game. And that's what, Indiana against some of the better teams, they've run it okay, but not great. And then all of a sudden you end up looking at the score at the end of the game, and they ran it 50 times for 215. And that's what they needed to do. And they just overpowered these guys. I thought they were better at the line of scrimmage. I thought they executed better. They didn't make mistakes. They knocked Ty Simpson out of the game, and then you knew, okay, this is a wrap here, and it was just a joyful 3.5 hours there in Pasadena.
I think that's a key term, settling in, because I'm feeling, look, last year the seeding was screwed up. I mean, Boise State and Arizona State should not be higher seeds, okay? So the seeding was screwed up. So the teams that had the bye week, it was misleading. This year, the higher seeds had the bye week, and just like you have in March Madness in the play-in, man, you get on that big stage and you get settled in a little bit quicker. It took a couple of series for Indiana. Man, the others, it's 7-1 now, straight up and against the spread. On that in that angle. So. I don't know, Wes. Are you feeling that as well as moving for next year? I'm saying moving forward with this with the teams that have the bye, if they continue with the 12-team format.
Yeah, I think so. There is a case for Russ there, and playing that championship game, obviously, and we're going to see how long these are going to last. If they're going to keep doing these extra games, or if teams are going to think that they're getting penalized for it. It hadn't affected Indiana so far. But, I just think that it's more open now, Jimmy, and that's been the big discussion with Indiana with, doing so well in the portal and having this kind of immediate success with Kurt Signetti. You have more teams involved, and I think that is at least good for college football. Yeah, there's some issues in the sport, but I think that's good that you have an Indiana, that you have an Ole Miss, that you have some new faces. And then you go back, and then you'll get some of the more established faces. You'll get the LSUs and the Alabamas and the Notre Dames. And I think that's good for college football when you got more fan bases feeling like they're playing for big state games.
Well, is that going to continue? Because I don't think Indiana's going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, I don't think Texas Tech is going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think Oregon is going anywhere anytime soon. What's going to, Ohio State, There's a little bit of cannibalism. I'll tell you what, I'll go to a 14-team playoff and give the Big Ten and SEC champions a bye, and give them a reward for that one. But we'll see if that goes. How do you feel this matchup? Because I got to tell you, I was the most surprising result, not even close, was the Oregon-Texas Tech game to me. I really respected Texas Tech, and that score was way more. That's a miracle that it was only 6-0 at halftime. I mean, a miracle. I mean, Oregon just destroyed Texas Tech, and now they match up here against Indiana.
Yeah, I was very impressed defensively, and I thought that they were going to bring a better effort, and I played the under in the game. Did not expect Texas Tech to get shut out, even though this isn't, the usual yesteryear offense of Texas Tech, but Oregon just dominated them at the line of scrimmage. Now, they did have a little bit of trouble running the ball, and they had to go for fourth down, I think 8 times. They made 4 of them. And Oregon this time around might have trouble running the ball, too, because now they're down to 2 healthy running backs. And I think if Oregon cannot run the ball very well here, that's where they can be in trouble, because one thing Indiana does is they get a lot of pressure. They sack more 6 times in the game in Austin. You're talking, I think, the 4th highest pressure rate in all of America, Indiana, and they can get it a variety of ways. They can get it with front 4. They can get it with, corner and safety blitzes. Brian Haynes is very creative, and he disguises coverage as well. And, they make changes late at the line of scrimmage, and I think that confuses offenses. And I think it confused more in the first meeting, and it might here the second time around, but this is going to be a war. Look, I never thought Alabama could beat Indiana in any way. Oregon can absolutely win this game. There's no question about it. With the way Dan Lanning coaches and as aggressive as that defense was, that was very impressive. But I'm riding with the guy that's 25-2, Jimmy. I got no reason to go against Kurt Cignetti, and he deserved, I think, the benefit of the doubt here for me. So I laid money line with the Hoosiers here. I think this is going to be a competitive game. The total's getting bet a little bit to the over because they're on that indoor track, but it's tough for me to go on an over when you've got an Indiana defense that only gave up 13 to Oregon, 10 to Ohio State, 3 to Alabama. So that's 26 points against the 3 best teams you played, 3 of the best 8 that were in the quarterfinals. So it's very tough for me to go with an over in this one.
All right, tomorrow night, you don't have a stake in that game. Give us a pick. Miami 3.5 and 52.5 against Ole Miss.
Yeah, as much as now the SEC is being written off, even by its most loyal supporter, Paul Feinbaum. He's like, the SEC is done. I don't think so. I think they're getting one in the championship game with Ole Miss. And I took the 3.5, and that's no disrespect to the U, who I think has probably had the toughest road to this standpoint, having to play A&M and then having to play Ohio State. We know they've dominated in terms of the line of scrimmage, in terms of getting pass rush. Now, you can run on them, I think, a little bit. And I think Ole Miss is able to do that. And the game I got wrong in the quarterfinals, I thought Georgia was going to be able to put them away in the second half, and Georgia just couldn't stop the explosive plays. They tried to pressure Chambliss. I think he got pressured 12 times, didn't get sacked once. The guy has just been a gamer. He's a veteran. He's a guy with the chip on his shoulder. D2 kid from Ferris State getting to play big-time SEC college football, and he showed out, I thought, in that Sugar Bowl. And credit to Ole Miss, and I like the way that they're playing because they're kind of playing a little bit devil-may-care attitude, and I think that that's the right way to be, where they're like, hey, we got left at the altar by our coach here. It doesn't matter who the position coaches are necessarily. We're just going to go play our game and do what we do. And I think if this is a higher scoring game, which the total is saying it might be at 52.5, and the Fiesta Bowl for some reason in recent years has been shootouts like every single year. If this is a shootout, I don't know if Miami can go score for score with these guys.
All right, Wes, the 6 games in the NFL opening weekend, wild card weekend of the playoffs. Give us your best bets.
Yeah, I played a couple. I did play the Packers at pick against the Bears. I'm going to try to fade them again, and sometimes that hadn't worked out. It did work out last week with the Lions, but plus 22 in the turnover margin. First playoff game for a lot of these young quarterbacks, including Caleb Williams. I'm going with the experience here with the Packers. I just don't know if the Bears, if you can keep living off that turnover margin. Plus 22, they're 5 better than anybody else in the league. I think Houston's second at 17. So I did play the Packers. Also played the Los Angeles Chargers, and I think you can wait on that. You might be able to get a better number. I think a lot of people are going to love the Patriots this week, and rightfully so. Drake may win the MVP, and they've been terrific, but they've played a weak schedule. I think they beat, one team with the winning record, and they played even some of the bad teams they played. They played a lot of backup quarterbacks. You played a lot of Brady Cooks and guys that are second-unit quarterbacks, and now you're playing one of the stud quarterbacks in the league, Justin Herbert. And I know their season's been up and down, but I'm going to go with the experience of the Chargers. So there's a couple 4s out there, and that's where I played it. I don't know if that's the ceiling, but I do like the Lightning Bolts up there in Foxborough. And also the under, Philadelphia, San Francisco, under 45. Low-scoring games when these teams have met in the past, and I think we're going to see another one.
All right, Wes, when you headed to Indiana? To Atlanta.
I will be going down, and I'm going to give Charlie a reference here from Mid-South Wrestling. Remember the fabulous Freebirds?
Bad
We're going
Street
down
USA.
Bad Street USA in Atlanta, GA, and I will be coming in tomorrow night.
There you go, man. There you go. Have fun, Wes. Enjoy it. Keep your expectations low. Dining in the downtown area. Go to the outskirts. A lot more accommodating. We'll good luck in downtown Atlanta. Wes Reynolds, follow him on Twitter at Wes Reynolds1. Don't forget our friends at Go Chevrolet. Go Chevrolet again in LaPlace. Our friends at Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine. My buddies Lee Carney and Nick Richard. Doing a really good job. One of the cool things, if you go to our website at GoChevrolet.com, you can get approved for your credit right online. So just one of those steps that we do during a car buying experience. You can go to the main page, scroll down, get approved, apply now for your credit. So certified pre-owned vehicles, that's right, to get the extension of the factory warranty when you get a certified pre-owned vehicle. If we don't have exactly what you're looking for in a vehicle, in a pre-owned vehicle, we will utilize our nationwide resources and get you exactly what you want in. Trade in, you can also see exactly, kind of get an online appraisal as well of your trade in to see what you can get toward the purchase of your next vehicle as well. It's all at their website at GoChevrolet.com. Go Chevrolet in LaPlace. Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine. I don't just talk about the vehicles. The Chevy Tahoe I drive came from the Go Automobile Dealership family in LaPlace and Plaquemine.
Live at Snows in Gonzales, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak in Gonzales on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We're also brought to you by the Thibodeau Store, the Pierre Part Store, now in LaRose and Lockport. You know what? It'd be not terribly long before we're out for baseball tailgate and your outdoor cooking equipment available at all 4 of these properties. Your crawfish pots, your jambalaya pots, your big green egg cookers, also custom-made Cypress furniture at the Thibodeau Store. Lots of fishing equipment at the Thibodeau Store. Free delivery on some items from the Thibodeau Store. And at thethibodeaustore.com, you can get to all 4 properties. Lots of specials on the website with same-day pickup available on pretty much anything in the store. You need lumber delivered. You can do that outside of the Pierre Part Store. They'll deliver that for you. Power tools, hand tools, plumbing items, electrical items. Get them all at the Thibodeau Store.
Yeah, when you go in there, too, ask for some help, because if you're kind of showing me what they have and different options, different price points, different sizes and things like that. But also, if you're looking for something and they don't have it, a lot of times, and guy just pulled it up right there on his phone, boom, and, sent it to my house. So if they don't have it in stock, a lot of it they can get ordered, and you don't have to worry about going back. They'll ship it to your house, no problem.
So Ty Simpson decides that he is going to go pro from Alabama. Jimmy, I see 2 sides of this, and you can tell me what you think. From a standpoint of draft status, this is a very thin quarterback class.
It is.
After Mendoza, if Dante Moore doesn't come out.
Expect him to.
Okay.
Because he's going to be the number 2 pick if he comes out.
All right.
At least.
Even if he does, Simpson's the 3rd best quarterback. If Moore stays in, he's the 2nd best quarterback. And I'm not sure there's another quarterback that's going to go in the 1st or maybe even the 2nd round. It's a big drop-off. A lot of the rankings have the next best quarterback in the 60s or 70s. And so from a draft standpoint, this is a lot thinner class than next year's class projects to be. On the other hand, Ty Simpson has made 15 starts, and that's less than what the NFL people want. But 15 starts
hurts him too. I mean, it's
Let's talk about Ty Simpson, and then we'll talk about Alabama. What would you have done?
No, it hurts him. That's what I'm saying.
15 starts, yeah.
Yes, I mean we've seen, similar situation to Richardson. Draft position. Why am I going to go back to college? Reps. He needed reps, and so does Simpson.
Yeah.
I mean, why is he different from any other quarterback in the developmental stage? We have seen a strong and enough to where it's valued and it's identified by the teams. Still will be drafted high. Some people think he has slid. I think you get hit as much as he did coming down the stretch when you know you don't have a running game. Show me a quarterback that's not going to be affected. And Mendoza, as good as he is and kind of safe character-wise as he is, and he does have 2 full years of starting at least. Did he start a year before that?
At Cal. Yeah.
No. I know he started 2024 season at Cal. Did he start before that at Cal? Okay. No. Okay, so he's got his 30. But I could put 8 to 10 quarterbacks on Indiana's team, and they'd have won the Heisman Trophy this year. I'm sorry. I mean, I am sorry. And Simpson is one of them. But his stock has fallen down because he's gotten beat up, and his production is going down, and, he looks like he's been off a little bit. He needs – but if you're going to be drafted in the 1st round, Charlie, would Alabama give him money? Are they itching? I mean, there's got to be a lot of things going through that whole process, Ed, because DeBoer's coaching for his life. Does he think – you saw a glimpse of the backup. Big, strong kid, throws pretty good ball.
He was the kid that he took him from Washington, right? He recruited him.
He highly recruited
Austin
player.
Mack. He's from California. They recruited him to Washington, and he transferred over when DeBoer left. 6'6". It played in 5 games this year, I believe.
The hard part is done. You're now in your 2nd year starting. You should have a spike. And I don't see where a coach's son like Simpson is not going to continue to develop. I mean, so I don't know if they're nudging him out or not, but I think, and if you stay, you're not going to get paid by Alabama or somebody else.
Yeah.
In college right now, you're going to get overpaid in college. I just think he's going to be this year or next year. He's going to be drafted. He's going to be drafted
high. Yeah.
Yes, high, and help develop yourself because what's the biggest thing is at stake is you get to see a second contract. You get to show enough, and I'm sorry, but they don't give you as long of a time. You're not going to be the number 1 overall pick like Trevor Lawrence, and we're going to continue to give you chances, or Tua because the owner liked him. Those are extenuating circumstances where guys weren't really performing super, super high, but they still got paid. I think Simpson's a guy that when he gets his chance, and whether it'll be as a rookie or whatever, he needs to be ready. And the best way to be ready is another year of college playing.
Let me correct myself. Mendoza started 8 games the season before that.
Yeah.
Not the whole season, but 2/3 of the season.
So he's got close to 40 he's putting up.
If you are – let's say Mendoza goes to the Raiders and Dante Moore goes to the Jets with the 2nd pick.
That's some mock drafts already. Yeah.
Okay. You're the Cardinals at 3. Would you take him? We know Murray's on his way out.
Ooh.
Would you take him at 3?
Probably.
If they passed him, then it's Titans and Giants who already have their quarterbacks. Browns at 6.
Who knows, man? Who knows with that crew?
There's only 2 teams in the top 10.
But if you're asking me what they have right now or
Cardinals
Simpson, I'd roll with Simpson.
Yeah, they've got lots of other needs, but
so you're probably going to be a top 10 pick.
Those are really the only two, though. Everybody else is. If Mendoza and Moore go 1 and 2,
how is Arizona going to? How is the new coach not going to go and get his quarterback?
Get his guy.
How is he going to sit with Kyler Murray?
Yeah, everybody else in the top 10 has got their quarterback, but
you can start Brissett. Will Brissett would attract starters' money? Will he get a chance?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Not at this point in his career. I think
extremely good backup, but his limitations, when you stretch him out, you see his first few starts are good, and then they kind of taper off. And that's with the Colts. It's with
perfect transition quarterback. I'd keep him in Arizona so I didn't have to shove Simpson out there in game 1.
You might not be able to, though.
Okay.
I'd
go get somebody like him.
He might get a starting opportunity next year.
I might go get somebody like Gardner Minshew or somebody like that, so I don't have to shove him out there in game 1.
Somebody under 42 years old.
Yes. Do you think that Alabama jumps into the portal with both feet, or you think they ride with Austin Mack?
No, Mack. Yeah.
It's DeBoer's guy.
Yeah.
That 4-star guy, big, lots of ability.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah, they had to be prepared for this possibility.
You can spend that money bringing it up. You got your guy on there. You're going to have to pay him something. Yeah. But their roster needs some spending elsewhere. Everybody's does.
Yeah, he's got a lot invested in Mac. I think he'll roll with him.
I would agree with that as well. Don't forget, we're over here today over at Snow Seafood and Steak. And, again, Airline Highway to Highway 74, the Sheets family doing a wonderful job for multi-generation operation, 50-plus years and running, man, just continuing to do a great job over here at Snow's. Tomorrow we'll be on campus over at Walk-Ons, the original Walk-Ons on Burbank. So Walk-Ons tomorrow, and then, of course, back at Ruffino's on Friday. Our remote location schedule.
Live at Snow's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak in Gonzales on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Wrapping up the show today, a lot of news, a lot of things going on. Jimmy, we didn't even have a chance to get to the John Harbaugh firing, which after 18 years in Baltimore, they move on.
Yes, Scheffler reporting with the 6 other openings that 7 teams have contacted him. So somebody still with a sitting coach is contacting him. Yes, and he also informed his staff that, we expect to be coaching next year. So he's not going to take a year off. He's ready to get right back into it. I can see both, and I don't agree that he's holding Lamar Jackson back. It's a different deal, man. Jackson, did he deserve those regular season awards? Yes. Has he been a big part of the disappointment in the postseason along with Harbaugh? Yes. So, guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. How many MVPs between them, and how many of the last MVPs? Neither guy has been to the Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, the last 3 MVPs. With those 2 guys. I'm fascinated to see which job Harbaugh takes, because we were talking about what the best job available is, and he has his pick and then some. Okay, does he prefer the stability of the Giants' ownership, or does he like Jackson Dart? Is he willing to take a chance with a volatile owner in Las Vegas, but he gets to take his quarterback in the draft and start from scratch? For all we know, he may like Dante Moore better than Mendoza if Moore comes out. Would he take a chance with one of the other teams out there? He literally has, I'm not going to say 7 job offers in his hand, but close enough to it that he can pick.
Oh, no.
He can pick.
He'll be doing the interviewing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. He's interviewing the teams. They're not interviewing him.
Yeah.
The offer's on the table.
I'm going to say Giants. I'm going to say Giants.
A little bit of Stefanski connection there, too. But this guy certainly has, at least a fan base has, oh, no, we got Harbaugh. No, go get Harbaugh now.
Yeah.
Harbaugh, the Maras, it could be. You got some young guys in place. Shane is kind of hanging on by thread. If you fail, he's failing too.
Thanks to everybody for being with us today. Tomorrow we are at the original Walk-Ons on Nicholson Drive. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton.